Hello everyone! In this video we're going to go over the Book A, Unit 13 Vocabulary Words, numbers 1 through 20. Let's get started with our first word. The first word is bloom. Bloom is a verb and bloom means to make flowers. And by make, it doesn't really mean that you're making flowers. Bloom is just when the flowers are opening, like this video here. An example would be, the tulips bloom after the daffodils. Daffodils are a kind of flower, and tulips are also a kind of flower. So in this sentence, it's telling you that this flower blooms, so it opens before the other flower. Another way that you can say bloom is the word blossom. So I can say the flowers are blossoming, or look at the blossoming flowers. It means they are opening like this. They are becoming what you know as a flower. And the opposite of bloom is wither. Wither is when the flower dies. Our next word is burp. Burp is a verb and it means to let gas out from the mouth in a loud way. And let's look at the example. He said, "Excuse me," after he burped. People usually say "excuse me" after they burp because many people think that burping is a little bit rude, especially if you do it somewhere like a restaurant. When someone burps, there is some gas that comes out of their mouth, and it usually makes a very loud sound. And it's not very polite to burp. Did you ever burp by accident? How did you feel? Were you embarrassed, or did you not care about it? Our next word is ceiling. Ceiling is a noun, and the ceiling is the part of a room that is over your head. Let's look at the example. We painted the ceiling white and the walls blue. In this picture here, this is the ceiling. The bottom part here is where you are, of course, and when you're looking up, this part is called the ceiling. This is not your roof. The roof is on the outside of your house. Sorry about my bad house drawing, but if this is your house, this part here is called the roof. But inside your house, we don't call it the roof, we call it the ceiling. So in this picture, what do you see on the ceiling? I can say there is a fan on the ceiling, or there are many lights on the ceiling. Our next word is country. Country is a noun, and country is a large area of land where people live under the same government or have the same culture. We can also call it a nation. In the example, it says, China is a country in Asia. If you look at a map, over here is Asia, and there's many countries in Asia. One of the countries is China. Of course, South Korea is also in Asia, and Japan, and many other countries. So the country is usually divided into some area like this. Only the part inside of this line is China. The other parts are different countries. So the line that is separating the countries, we call that the border. Every border means that there's a new country. Are there any countries that you know many things about? For example, do you know anything about Brazil or Australia or the USA and Canada? All of these are countries. Our next word is crosswalk. Crosswalk is a noun, and a crosswalk is a lane or path in a road that is marked off for people to cross on foot. So you can see in the picture here, there is this area here that has a different mark from the rest of the road. And we know that we can walk on these lines. We call this the crosswalk. It's for people to safely walk from one side of the road to the other side. Let's look at the example. It is safest to cross the street in the crosswalk. And did you know in some other countries, instead of saying crosswalk, people call it a zebra crossing. Do you think it looks like a zebra? Which way do you like better? Do you like to say crosswalk or do you like to say zebra crossing? Our next word is daughter. Daughter is a noun and a daughter is a person's female child. For example, I have one daughter and one son. So the daughter is someone's child. So of course, they would be the mom and the dad's child. So in this first picture here, how many daughters are in this family? I can see 1 and 2. So I can say they, the mom and the dad, they have 2 daughters. But what about this mom and dad? How many daughters do they have? They only have 1 daughter. And instead of saying daughter, because daughter is only for the girls, it's only for females. If you want to talk about the boys, you can say son. So this family has 1 daughter and 1 son. Our next word is envy. Envy is a noun and envy is a feeling. It's a feeling of wanting what someone else has because you don't have that thing. Let's look at the example. He looked at her new car with envy. When you envy someone, you want what they have. So if we look at this picture, which girl do you think feels envy? This girl here. She envies the other girl because her flowers look nicer. These flowers are a little bit small and it looks like they're very dry. So she envies her friend because her flowers look better. In this picture here too, this man envies the other man because he has a trophy. He envies the trophy that his friend has. He wants to have that same trophy. And here too, I can say I envy my friend because her mom gave her candy as a snack, but my mom gave me an apple. So I envy my friend. I want to have this candy too. When you want what someone else has, that feeling is called envy. Did you ever envy something that one of your friends had? Our next word is ferry. Ferry is a noun and a ferry is a boat or ship that carries people or things back and forth across a river or other body of water. Let's look at the example. Before the bridge was built, people crossed the river by ferry. So imagine that there is a river and you want to go from one side to the other, but there's no bridge. The only way that you can go is on a boat. And that kind of boat is called a ferry. And the special thing about ferries is that people can drive their cars onto the ferry. So they'll start on one side, let's say they start here, they drive their car on the ferry, then the ferry will take them across the water to where they want to go, and now they can just get off the ferry with their car. Did you ever ride a ferry to cross over some water? Our next word is fingerprint. Fingerprint is a noun, and a fingerprint is a mark made by the tip of a finger. Let's look at the example. The police use fingerprints to find criminals. So your fingerprint looks like this. You can take your fingerprint by using some ink, putting your finger on the ink, and then putting your finger on a paper. That will show you what your fingerprint looks like. The special thing about fingerprints is that everyone's fingerprint is different. So, police can use fingerprints to find criminals because everyone has a different looking fingerprint. So your fingerprint won't be the same as someone else. And there are many technologies these days, such as a phone that uses fingerprints to open them. So when someone touches the front of their phone, the phone will open so that that person can use the phone. But if someone else with a different fingerprint tries to open the phone, then it doesn't work because fingerprints are unique. Our next word is habit. Habit is a noun, and a habit is a regular action or activity. For example, I have a habit of biting my nails when I'm nervous. A habit is just something that you do regularly. So you do it many times, almost every day you do this thing. Things that you do every day are called habits. And of course, we can have good habits or we can have bad habits. So let's look at some good habits. Brushing your teeth every day is a good habit. And drinking a lot of water is also a good habit. Of course, exercising, eating healthy, and even meditating are good habits. But what are some bad habits? Do you ever put your finger in your nose when your nose is itchy? Some people think that is a bad habit. Or someone who drinks too much coffee, or someone who eats food very, very late at night, or someone who's always lazy and not working or smoking. All of these are called bad habits. So, do you have some good and bad habits? Our next word is history. History is a noun, and history is the study of what happened in the past. For example, I enjoyed learning about the history of Korea. So history is just when you are learning about anything that already happened in the past. I can say I like learning about the history of cavemen, when people used to live in caves and they only drew pictures on walls instead of writing letters. Or I like learning about the history of Egypt. I want to know what happened in Egypt thousands of years ago when they made the pyramids. Or I like learning about the history of dinosaurs. What was it like when dinosaurs were alive? When you think about history, just remember it already happened in the past. It's finished. So when you want to know about the history of something, you want to know about what happened in the past. Our next word is husband. Husband is a noun, and the husband is the man to whom a woman is married. Let's look at the example. She asked her husband to take out the trash. So here you can see these two people. This one, she is called the wife, and he is called the husband. The husband is the person that the girl is married to. So he is her husband, and she is his wife. This is a husband. Your mom can call your dad her husband because they are married. So when a girl gets married, she can call the person that she marries her husband. Our next word is law. Law is a noun, and the law is the set of rules that people in a society must follow. So every country has some rules that people have to follow. If they don't follow those rules, then they can be in trouble. Maybe they have to pay some money or they have to go to jail. So let's look at the example. The law is very complicated. Lawyers must study it for many years. There are many laws and many special ways that people have to follow the law. So some people's job is to understand and know all of those laws. Those people are called lawyers. But let's look at some laws that most countries have. For example, can you steal things from other people? Can you take things that are not yours? Of course not. That would be against the law. If you take money from a bank and it's not your money, then you broke the law and the police can take you to jail. Or if you destroy something that is not yours. So these people are destroying this bench in the park, then that is also breaking the law. Of course, if you hurt someone or even if you kill someone especially, that is breaking the law. And there are laws so that people can live safely in a country without having to worry about everyone coming and stealing their things or breaking their things. That's why laws are important, to protect people. Our next word is lovely. Lovely is an adjective, so you can use it to describe something or someone. And lovely means beautiful in appearance. Appearance means how something looks. So if something looks beautiful, you can say it is lovely. So I can say she is wearing a lovely dress, and that would mean it's a beautiful dress. Here's another example. Mom looked lovely in her new dress. I can also use lovely to talk about a person, not just how they look, but what kind of a person they are. Maybe they are nice or they are very kind, so I can say they are lovely. I can say my grandmother is a lovely person. That means she's nice, kind, and beautiful. Or my grandfather is a lovely person. You can also use lovely to talk about something that you did. And in that case, lovely would mean great. For example, if I was on vacation and I went to a fun island, or I went to Jeju, and someone asked me, "How was your vacation?" I can say, "Oh, my vacation was lovely." In that sentence, it doesn't mean beautiful, it just means great. I had a lovely time. It means I had a great time. Or it was a lovely vacation. That means it was a great vacation. Our next word is moment. Moment is a noun and it means a very short amount of time. For example, may I talk with you for a moment? When you think about a moment, you can think about a very, very short amount of time. Maybe 1 minute or 1 or 2 minutes is what we call a moment. And many times people will use this word like this. They will say, "1 moment, please." So when someone is busy, maybe they are talking on the phone or they are helping a different person, and you ask them something, they will tell you, "1 moment, please." It's very similar to saying wait. Instead of saying wait, you can say 1 moment, please. And when they are finished with their phone call or when they are finished helping the other person, then they will help you. Also, you can use moment if your teacher is going too fast and you need them to slow down. You can say 1 moment, please, to let them know that they should wait for a minute or less. Our next word is stretch. Stretch is a verb and it means to pull something to its full length. For example, he always stretches his legs after running. Many people do some stretches like this after or before they do some exercise. When you stretch, you are pulling your muscles, so that way you don't get hurt when you're doing exercise. Or we can use stretch to talk about things. For example, here, she stretched her hairband. Or here, this is also stretching this band. It's pulling it as far as it can go. That is called stretch. Can you think of some other things that you can stretch, that you can pull? Our next word is throat. Throat is a noun and it is the part of your body through which food and air pass to the stomach and lungs. So to put it in an easy way, this part of your body here is what we call the throat. Of course, when you eat, food goes down your throat into your stomach, and when you breathe air, the air goes into your lungs so that you can breathe. Let's look at the example. My throat hurt after talking all day. So sometimes our throats can hurt when we talk too much, or if we're yelling too much, or when you are sick, then you can hurt your throat. We call it a sore throat. Was there ever a time when you had a sore throat? Our next word is thumb. Thumb is a noun, and the thumb is the short, thick first finger on the hand. Let's look at the example. I can't wear this ring on my thumb because it's too small. Your thumb is very thick compared to your other fingers. It's wider than your other fingers, so sometimes it's difficult to wear rings on your thumb. And your thumb is also shorter than your other fingers. And did you know that humans are not the only ones that have thumbs? There's other animals that have thumbs. For example, chimpanzees, gorillas, koalas, pandas, and even some frogs have thumbs. This is the waxy leaf tree frog, and it has a thumb that it can bend. Our next word is ticket. Ticket is a noun, and a ticket is a small piece of paper that shows that you have paid for something. For example, you must show your ticket to get into the theater. When you go to a theater to watch a movie, you have to buy a ticket. And if you want to go inside to see the movie, you have to show your ticket to the worker, so that way they know that you already paid for the movie. There's many places that use tickets. For example, if you go to a museum, sometimes you have to buy a ticket before you can go inside. Or if you go to an amusement park like Everland, you need to buy a ticket and then show your ticket so that you can go inside. Another place where you need a ticket is on an airplane. To ride on an airplane and go somewhere, you always have to show your ticket. And our last word is wife. We already did husband before, so now we are doing wife. Wife is a woman to whom a man is married. Let's look at the example. Joe's wife is younger than he is. So we already said when a girl marries someone, that person is called their husband. So the same is true for the boy. When a boy marries someone, that person is called their wife. So your mom can call your dad her husband, and your dad can call your mom his wife. And that's all for this video. We went over the Book A, Unit 13 Vocabulary Words, numbers 1 through 20. Thank you for listening and see you next time. Bye!